What you talking about now, Cine? I don't know, but you're gonna get some nuggets out of it though. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn that bell on. There's a new video series dropping every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the random jam session whenever I'm in my bag. You do not want to miss out. Also, be sure to check out my books, man. The link's in the description below, right along with my vegan class if you're trying to go plant-based and stay plant-based. I'm telling you, it works. Oh, and lastly, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. The nuggets I don't put over here, I put over there, so you can always get me when you need me. But you ain't really coming for all of that. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out. I just can't do it because if I call on his energy, if I call on what he represented, then what's that gonna do to me? It's gonna allow me to get hit in the head with bricks. Nah, like that shit, it don't make no sense, yo. It don't make no sense. If I'm gonna call on some ancestors, I gotta call on Ali. I gotta call on Malcolm X. I gotta call on these types of ancestral energies. Because I know what goal that I'm trying to achieve. You feel what I'm saying? But this is why, if you study history, like history is a very important thing to study. This is why, for one, they only want you to study their history, and for two, if you study your own history, you can't study the gangsters. You gotta study the passive people. You gotta study people like Rosa Parks who sat on the bus and didn't do shit. You feel me? You gotta study the people like Dr. Martin Luther King who, you know, granted, he did the whole Montgomery bus boycott and shit, but at the same time, that killed their pockets. But at the end of the day, if some shit would have popped off and, you know, he would have responded the way, you know, probably Malcolm would have, or probably the Black Panthers would have, things like that would have changed. So this is why you give that negative narrative to Malcolm X, to the Black Panther Party, to these things. So if I call on Huey Newton, I already know what it is. If I call on Tupac, I already know what it is. Like, I know what they represented. You feel me? So this is why you have to demonize that. When you understand the ancestral lineage and the ancestral capacity of the people, and they don't, then you have to give them history. You feel what I'm saying? You take away their mystery, like my story, you take away that and you give them your story. You feel me? You like, okay, this is, you know what it is. I'm gonna talk about this person, you know, enslaving you. I'm gonna talk about this person enslaving you. I'm gonna talk about this. So every ancestor you think to call on, this is what it is. You feel me? I'm not going to tell you about the revolts. I'm not going to tell you about none of this shit. I ain't going to tell you about any of the people that bucked up. You feel what I'm saying? Because I don't want you conjuring them up. I don't want you channeling into their energy. That is strategically done. Your history class is important because it's strategically done that way. You feel what I'm saying? I keep it in that loop. I keep it in that mentality, and I keep you thinking over and over. Do not call on these ancestors. Call on these. These are your ancestors. These are all you know. These are all you're going to know. Call on them. Call on him. You feel what I'm saying? And then for the ancestors you don't know, what happens? You feel what I'm saying? You got the religion that teaches you turn the other cheek. You know, turn the other cheek to your enemy. You know, here's another pivotal point. This shit is like, it's on some metaphysical shit. You know, I talk about these two verses a lot because these are very, very influential verses to people. They say turn the other cheek to your enemy, and then they say you spare the rod, you spoil the child, right? We understand that our ancestors are reincarnates, period. Like they incarnate back into the children. You feel me? Spare the rod, you spoil the child. Why are you beating the children? So if you then acknowledge the fact that, yeah, my ancestors come back. I've had people in this, you know what I'm saying, especially our people, they talk about that bullshit about, oh, we don't fuck with the reincarnation. It's like this because the religion that, fuck that bullshit. These motherfuckers will tell you in regular conversations of shit like, yo, this person, this baby reminds me of great aunt such and such. This baby right here makes me think of our uncle this, and this. He came back, got same mannerisms and all that shit. So we acknowledge the reincarnation, but we beating these ancestors. Think about that. Like if this is the aunt that passed away and they came back in as this child, and you're whooping this child, you're beating this child. What have you just done to that ancestor? So fuck the time right now. Fuck the past, the present. We're going to break down and elevate above the concept of time and know that everything is still cyclic and continual, right? So in real time, I'm beating the ancestor that just came back in. I wouldn't have beat them when they were my aunt. You feel me? I wouldn't have whooped them. I wouldn't have, you know what I'm saying, punished them. I wouldn't have locked them in rooms. I wouldn't have done, you know, abusive shit to them while they were the elder. But now that they're the child, I can do that shit. You think that's an accident? Yo, you think that whole concept is an accident? Nah, it's not. Because I understand now I'm going to build the animosity between the ancestral lineage and the spirit realm and the physical realm. You feel me? You don't beat kids. You don't disrespect children. And it's like, but your enemy gets a pass. Your enemy gets a pass. How the fuck does that shit work? Like, that shit makes no sense. It's stupid. It's delusional. You feel what I'm saying? But when we consider that, when we put that into perspective and we talk about our ancestors, like, I don't give a fuck how many altars you build. I don't give a fuck how many offerings you give, how many candles and money and all of that other shit you put on your altar. If you are not respecting the children, if you are not building the children, if you are not teaching the children, giving them something to see, giving them something to live for, putting life into them to better themselves, and you are denigrating them, you are desecrating them, you are breaking them down, you are not honoring your ancestors. I don't give a fuck how you look at it. You're not doing it.